If you're an entrepreneur and you want to achieve freedom in your business and you want a life that's successful, that provides you a lot of happiness and joy, and you actually want to enjoy the process there and not just sacrifice your entire personal life, then this video is for you. Basically, I wanted to create a business that allows me to really enjoy the finer things, share it with the people I care about, and I didn't want to have to sacrifice everything to get there. And I think a lot of people want to have the success when it comes into business. You're most likely trying to escape the 9-to-5, the average lifestyle. You want things that are basically the 1%, and you want the best experiences, you want the best things, not all materialistic, but basically just more happiness and more opportunities. And something I've come to realize is that you're most likely striving and working hard to get there, but you may be lacking in certain aspects. The more time I spend around people that are really successful, the more I learn that it's not just one thing, it's everything. And the way that you do one thing is how you most likely behave across your entire life and across your entire business. And I just recently went to Japan. I was around a lot of people that are making 6 figures plus a month, some $250,000 a month, and they had everything dialed in. And that's basically the difference maker. If you're looking to really step out of the 9-to-5, you don't want the boring, mundane 9-to-5 clock in, clock out. You don't want to go to the boring little hotels. You want to go to the nice Ritz-Carlton resorts. You need to actually behave like people that get that. You're not going to get there just by stumbling upon it. You need to actually behave like someone that earns it. And again, you need to do this across your entire life. So I'm going to give you a couple different frameworks here when it relates to business and personal life. A lot of you are running businesses, so I'll start with the business stuff and then we'll dive into the personal. But I think, again, you need to really try to do the best you can in every single aspect, and that's basically the hard pill to swallow. You need to show up every single day for everything. So for business, we're going to talk about content first. So for content, a lot of people try to guess their way through content. They basically throw things against the wall, hope that something sticks. They're hoping to go viral. But for content, you need to be very intentional. Okay, so with content, you basically have to think about your end goal in mind. So if you're actually posting content to attract clients and good fit clients that are actually able and willing to pay you, that are a good fit for your program, that you can actually get results for, you first need to actually step into their mind. So what are they waking up thinking about? What are they currently going through as far as challenges? What are their dream outcomes? And what does that end goal look like? And so whenever you're actually putting your offer through your content and the messaging, you need to think about the functional piece, which is basically what do you actually do? What's your mechanism? You need to think about the actual mechanism itself. So this is going to be more about, or the results, what does that basically produce for the person? So if your mechanism is helping them book more calls with automations and ads, for example, the result would be more booked calls. And then the final one is the emotions. So how does that basically relate to their life? So it could be, for example, in this case, less stress because you have consistent calls, more confidence in your business, more freedom because you're not having to chase leads all the time. If you're in the fitness space, you might have an offer which is basically just helping people lose weight. Ideally, you want to have some kind of specific offer. So let's say, for example, that you do this with intermittent fasting and 3 times a week workouts. So your mechanism is the intermittent fasting and the workouts. The result would be basically knowing how to approach your diet and knowing how to approach working out. And then the emotions is feeling confident, excited to go to the beach, better dating options. So that's basically how you want to approach your content. And whenever you are posting content, you can speak to those dream outcomes, what they're actually looking for. You can also speak to what might be holding them back, because most of the time if someone doesn't sign up, they have internal objections. So, just overall just worries and lack of confidence in themselves, basically. So not thinking that they can actually achieve the result. So for the fitness offer, you might be breaking it down, dieting can be complicated. You might think you have to count all your macros. You might think that's a very tough process, but I make it so simple that all you have to do is just track it one day, one time, and now you'll have the framework for the rest of your life. That could be one way to do it. But then you also have external objections. So this could be, for example, someone that thinks about your offer and they think they're gonna have to really do so much for their diet and they're not gonna be able to go out and enjoy food with their friends. They might be worried about having to show up with the tub of salad to the restaurant and embarrass themselves. So those might be external factors, which would basically hold them back as far as signing up. And you also want to break those down as well. So in this case, you might say you don't actually have to sacrifice your time with family and friends. You can actually diet the rest of the day, leave calories open, and then eat whatever you want in the evening. So that would be one option, basically, to approach your marketing, in which you're really approaching and speaking to the people that are actually going to want your offer. And don't be afraid to be a little specific as well. Ideally, you do want to push away people that aren't a good fit and really attract people that are. And that's why sometimes, again, if you're in the fitness offer, really speaking to the people that are going to be the best fits. So for example, if you're really helping someone get ready for competitions, don't talk about, losing fat and getting started in the gym. These people are already probably experienced. So here you're going to talk more about, really just dialing it in, how to add some more steps to your day just so you can lose that last bit of fat, right? So things like that. But for your content, basically, you want to be very intentional when it comes to the posting and the cadence. The most important thing really is just consistency. The platforms are really going to start to pick you up if you are actually consistent in your content. My YouTube started a little slow, but now I've been more consistent, and we're literally growing over 100% month over month right now. We're not quite Mr. Beast just yet. We're still a small channel, but we're starting to really grow. We had a couple of videos go viral somewhat, and so now we're seeing that end result basically come through because we're showing up, we're consistent, I'm speaking to what people actually want and need, and that's how you want to approach your content. Whenever you also are doing content, there's a couple of different types of content you can do as well. So you can do either teach posts, share posts, show posts, or give posts. So teach posts are going to be basically talking more about what you help people with, basically. So fitness, talking about the diet, talking about the working out. If you're some kind of sales coach, you might talk about handling objections and overall sales frameworks. So actually teaching value. You really don't want to be afraid to give too much, because that's actually going to help people get closer to you and trust you as an authority. You then have show posts. So show posts are going to be those that actually show more about your program, how it actually works, also showing client results as well. So really just proof of the pudding. And then you have the share posts, which are basically just sharing your life, sharing your hobbies, connecting with people on a human level so that people can actually trust you. Whenever people sign up for your program, they're not only investing in the result, they're investing in you. And so ideally the person wants to know beforehand if they'll actually vibe with you and if they'll actually want to sign up. And then the final one is give posts. So basically this is just giving people a reason to sign up. So this could be giving them free value in the form of a lead magnet, a free training, and basically just getting people to raise their hand so they can reach out and potentially getting them off the fence to work with you. So that's how you want to approach content. You really just want to be intentional with it, basically. So the next one here is going to be with clients. So clients is also a very important thing. You really want to make this an actual enjoyable experience. Something I'll say off the bat is that the most important piece is really the first bit as well. So the first 48 hours someone signs up is going to be a big determining factor as to whether or not they'll be happy with their purchase, because people, as soon as they pay, their buyer's remorse starts to go up. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of onboarding processes dialed in, you have the automations in place. We basically use Go High Level to track our pipeline for sales and for our clients. We drag them over into the separate pipeline for clients. Then automatically they get email drips, they get sent the onboarding funnel, and they can start to basically get value from the program day one right away. We also do an onboarding call 101 so that we can really help them dial in whatever they need for their business and just really going above and beyond. But for your clients, you also want to be proactive as well. Don't be reactive. Don't wait for things to come up and for them to have to chase you. Whenever I'm working with the company and I'm having to be the one following up with them and I'm having to be the one following up, I always treat it as a horrible experience, and I'm sure you have as well, and you don't want that to be the experience for your clients. So you always want to be proactive. So basically that means having one day out of the week to actually reach out to them and just do a little check-in basically with all of them, especially if you're working with one-on-one clients. I just have a day of the week where I'm checking in with them every single time just to see, how are you making progress on the tasks that we went over? What are you currently struggling with? Are there any wins that we can celebrate amongst ourselves and with the community? So really just staying on top of it. It's really, really important that you're proactive with your clients. They're gonna really be thankful for that, and it's gonna make it so much of a better process. So again, to make this a better experience for them, you wanna have automations in place so that there's no delays, they're not waiting for anything. You wanna be available for them as well. So picking a day out of the week to check in. If you're doing one-on-ones, I'd recommend having one-on-one calls as well. You want to make yourself available through potentially an assistant or a client success manager. So just providing a lot of support at a level that makes sense for your program without really taking all the time away in which you have to basically sacrifice your life. But there's a couple of different ways you can approach client delivery basically. But I think for a lot of coaching offers, if you're a coach, I think having 2 tiers of a one-on-one tier, which is basically having that proximity to you, and then a more community tier. That one's more of a recorded trainings plus weekly support calls, and still being able to get the results minus the close proximity basically. The one-on-one is just adding that the calls and the direct message access, which will basically usually cost about twice as much. But that's how you want to structure your clients. Again, being very proactive, reaching out. You want this to be a great experience because your reputation in the marketplace spreads, and it spreads very quickly, and you want it to be a good one. And then the final one here is going to be leads and sales. So this is also something you have to be very intentional about and smart with as well. And again, if you want the 1% results, you need to be dialed in on everything. So when it comes to leads and sales, you need to really get people excited about working with you so that you can actually start to make some more money. So whenever I approach my leads and my sales, I basically think of it as a funnel, and there's a couple of different pieces to the funnel, and each one needs different things. So top of funnel is going to be basically getting people into your world. So with this, I usually just recommend ads. There's no other way to make it so predictable, simple, automatic. My goal in business is ideally to automate and delegate as much as possible so I get my time back, so I can do things I actually enjoy instead of just having to do a lot of the grunt work. My goal is to make more money in less time so I can focus on things I like, such as recording videos like this one, working with clients, just making more money. So with this, for the top of funnel, you just set up ads. I usually recommend setting up some type of follower ad just to get people into your world, and having really good content. So we already talked about the content. You're probably not going to attract too many people organically, especially if you're on Instagram. The algorithm isn't really optimized for that so much. They're really trying to push people to spend money on ads, unfortunately. But having good content so people can basically get in your world through ads and then stay in with your good content. And then once they come in, now you want to move them down the funnel. So basically the top of funnel moves them in, and then as they go down, they get closer and closer to the buy point. So middle of funnel, this is going to be basically warming them up, nurturing them, and getting them excited to reach out to you about your program. And so with this, again, you need to have good content, but also you can have digital assets. So digital assets are going to be those like VSLs, video sales letters. They're going to talk about you, your mechanism. And so with this, you basically want to connect with people on a deeper level. And Aristotle has 3 different levels of persuasion that he talks about, in which if you want to persuade someone to do something, you need to connect with them on 3 different levels. And so we have ethos, which is connecting with you. Do they trust a messenger? Pathos is connecting with them. Do you actually understand where they are and what they need? Then Logos is the logical side of the brain. So with the VSL, you just want to connect with them on the ethos and logos, or with the ethos and pathos, so that they really understand you, how you got here, and why you think your way is the way, basically, without going into the details of your program. So the VSL is very, very important. You need to set this up as soon as possible if you don't have one just yet. And that's going to really help you a lot to basically use this as your main sales asset, really. So you're going to put this everywhere. You're going to put this in your social media bio. You're going to post it on your story. You're going to post it on YouTube. You're going to send it in your newsletter. And basically, whenever you're speaking to prospects, you just send them there so they can basically understand, is this for me, right? Is this really the way that I want to solve my problem? And then you can talk about the details later, basically. But that's the main gist of that. You also want to set up a lead magnet, ideally, so that you can basically give people a reason to reach out to you to ask for something, so you can start a conversation. A lead magnet can be a free training, a cheat sheet, an SOP, it can be an ebook. And so basically just something short and concise that gets them a really good results. And ideally you want it to be something that's kind of sexy, that they think they need. And so a lot of the time you understand your clients, you get great results for your clients, and there's certain things that they need, but that leads don't really think about necessarily. But there are certain things that they really do talk about and they really get excited about. So a good example is a dating coach, for example. If you're a dating coach and you help people get better dates, more dates, then you probably need to help them with their mindset, with their approach, with the actual dates, a couple of different pieces to it. So one big piece of your offer might be mindset, but whenever someone goes online and they're looking to get better dates, they're not looking to go through a mindset training, right? Even though it's probably very helpful, but something they would probably be interested in is having, for example, a cheat sheet on mastering Tinder to get more matches, right? That's like a more sexy offer, basically, or a more sexy training that they would want to actually click on and go through. So basically you set up the lead magnet for something that they actually want and that's kind of sexy for them, and now you basically give them a reason to reach or put up their hands and reach out to you to then start the conversation. So then you can then follow into your DM script to then book a call. My goal basically is to create a system in which it's as automated as possible. I don't have to force any sales. So there are a lot of different ways to market and get people in. You can also run VSL ads, which is direct to video sales letter. And so basically here you're trying to push to the call as fast as possible, but they just met you. So it can work, but you're not really optimizing for peace. Here you're gonna need a big sales team to manage all the calls with people that, again, don't really know you. You have to push for the hard sale. So not my favorite. You can do DM ads. DM ads can also work. They're still seeing your profile a little bit, but it's still a very direct way to try to book calls because you're trying to book it as fast as possible because they just messaged you. So again, not really optimizing for the marketing side of things. And then you also have form ads, which is basically the worst version of all of this. They're just clicking on a couple buttons, sending their information out. They're the coldest leads possible. So yeah, I think follower ads work really well. Just brings them in, and then through your content, through your digital assets, now you can nurture them and get them to raise their hand, and then they'll reach out to you. And to make this process even more dialed in, you can also use retargeting ads so that basically they're gonna see you over and over and over again in the platform. But there's a couple of different tips basically for your business. You can see how important it is to have everything dialed in to really get great results. And if you start to slack on one aspect, everything falls apart. So if you want to stand out like the 1%, you need to have everything. You need to have the VSL, you need to have the lead magnet, you need to have these automations in place, you need to have the ads that make you look like an authority. And basically having all this in place will not only make your business a lot more successful, but it'll make your life a lot easier. So that's why I recommend all that for your business. And so now talking more about the personal life. So a lot of people are looking to grow their business and they want to achieve this success, but whenever you show up in your marketing, whenever you show up with your clients or on a sales call, the way that you present yourself when you come up is going to be felt with that prospect. And it's so important that you also are dialed in on the personal side of things, because people can feel it. People can feel your energy. It sounds very, very voodoo, but it's true. And you need to have your personal life dialed in. And it's just something that you do once, you do for a week with high intensity, and then you slack off on. This needs to become a way of life, basically. And so the important things here are going to be, first, your mindset. You need to be very aware of how you think, what you think about. Are you negative a lot of the time? Are you worried? Are you stressed? Are you worried about money? Are you in a scarcity mindset? So all these things that could basically bring down your energy, that could be felt in your content, your marketing. Are you basically desperate for clients? And so when you hop on a sales call, you're a little nervous and you're kind of forceful, right? These are all things that are working against you. So it's kind of hard to get your mindset dialed in very quickly, but this is another muscle that you can build basically to get better and better. So for your mindset, just trying to be aware of how you think. And someone that's really good about talking about this is Dan Coe. So Dan Coe has a book called The Art of Focus. And so he just talks about basically being aware about your mindset, how you think, trying to catch yourself when you fall into negative loops, and try to understand potentially what was a trigger to fall into that, then also catching yourself to try to get out of it. And basically the more you're able to catch yourself, get out of it, and start to then think about positive, you're not going to lean more and more towards positive. And I think more people than not would prefer to be positive most of the time. It's impossible to be positive all the time, but statistics say that we have, I think it's 200,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative. So let's try to move that more towards a positive side of things. So to do this, again, be more aware about your thoughts, potentially doing meditation as well. I'm not the best about this, to be honest with you, but one form of meditation for me is going on walks. So I go on walks every single day for my fitness, but also just to basically disconnect and just get out in nature. I don't listen to podcasts anymore. I just walk and think. So that's one form of meditation for me, and fitness, which I'll talk about in a second. So really just getting dialed in. You can also do certain things like cold therapy or cold showers, basically. But yeah, getting your mindset in check. The next one would be going into fitness. Fitness is so important. It helps in a lot of different ways for marketing, because you're selling the dream. If you're in really great shape, people want that. So it's going to make you look a lot better in your content and your marketing. It's going to work a lot better for you when it comes to relationships and networking, because again, people really respect someone that's in shape, because not only do you look good, but it also shows discipline. You can't buy a good body. So it really shows that you're dialed in, that you take care of yourself, and people respect that. So it's very good for networking. But overall, it just builds that discipline. So you're going to build really great habits. You're going to be able to basically delay gratification, which not only helps, again, in fitness, but also inside of your business, inside of your finances. It's going to help you feel better. You're going to have more energy, also helping you in business. So fitness is so important. I really put so much focus on my own fitness. It's something I spend a lot of time on every single week, because it's a priority for me. And not only to help me in business, but what's the point of having a lot of money if you can't even enjoy it? If you feel sick, if you're fat, if you're out of shape, if you're low energy, you can't do anything. I mean, genuinely, what's the point? So that's why I approach it this way. I think it's really important to have your fitness dialed in. You don't have to go crazy. The most important things basically is being consistent also. So being consistent at the gym. You want to show up bare minimum 3 times a week. You want to be working up upper body, lower body. I'd recommend walking every single day. It's a very easy way to lose fats. And this is going to help you basically with that mindset piece, but also with your fat loss and helping you make bigger progress that way. If you want to go above and beyond, I work out 5 days a week. I walk every single day, and I do cardio about 6 to 7 times a week as well. And that's why I'm in pretty good shape. But that will also help you. And then for your dieting, you really want to limit processed food as much as possible. I only cook organic. I might eat out sometimes and divulge a little bit, but that's like less than 10% of the time. 90% of the time I'm eating organic, very healthy food, one ingredient foods, and I eat a lot of red meats because that helps with not only getting a lot of protein, but a lot of different vitamins that you need. And you also want to know a baseline of your calories as well. So I know intrinsically that I need about 2,000 to 2,200 calories, so I'm in a slight deficit so I can continue to lose fat. And then if I add my working out and I add my walks, then I go down even faster. But I know I need about 2,000 to 2,200. So basically I track my calories one day, and then I know a baseline of what I should be eating. So if I eat more than what I'm supposed to, I'm above. If I eat less, then I'm below. So I already know my normal day, basically, and I try to basically follow that most days. So that's how you basically master your fitness, so you can get a little bit better. And the final one is going to be networking. So Tai Lopez calls this the love factor. So basically just your relationships. So it could be relationships with your partner, your significant other, but also just people you get around. It's really, really important that you surround yourself with people that are going to be a positive influence on you. You may have some friends or family members that aren't so positive, that aren't so driven, and you think, it's okay, I'm strong-minded, but subconsciously, their thought patterns are going to make their way into your mind and how you behave. And it's really important that you spend most of your time mostly with people that are just like you. I can't tell you how much of an impact and how much more energy I get and how much more jazzed up I feel after I hang out with buddies that are on the same level I'm at, that are also chasing the same dreams. I just feel like a boost, right? And it's really, really helpful because, again, you get that boost, you get that confidence. If you're in a slow month, it kind of resets you a little bit. It gives you new ideas, new strategies. It keeps you on track. You keep accountability. It's really, really important. But I understand it's not so easy to get around these types of people, especially if you're a beginner, right? Ideally, most of these people, they want to give value and get value back. So if you're very beginner, you might not have so much value to give just yet. But there's certain things that you can provide that would make you an attractive person to be around. So some certain things you could do is content. Everyone wants content. If you're doing some kind of online sales, people need content. So ideally you want to be someone that could be fun to make content with, basically. And so ideally you want to be in good shape, right? So that you actually present well on the camera. You want to have something good to talk about. And then you want to be helpful when it comes to making that content. So shooting videos together, maybe doing podcasts together, that's a great way to do it. And then if someone also gives you advice, you want to be actionable as well. Don't be that guy that just talks a big game but doesn't actually do anything. I hate that. So it's just a waste of time, basically. So be the kind of guy that takes massive action. If you have a new person in your life that's kind of higher level and he's giving you advice, take action. Show them that you're an action taker, that you're here to actually win. They're going to really feel that, and it's going to make a big difference. But yeah, hopefully those are all the frameworks right there. We went over six different topics, from business with the leads. We went over clients and content. For personal life, we went over mindset, fitness, and relationships. So basically, my recommendation here is to just look through your own life and try to rank every single factor out of 10 and focus on the factor that might be the lowest score right now, and then try to improve it. Okay, I gave you a couple different tips for this video. Hopefully, we can give you some ideas on the type of level you should be operating at, so that now you can start to implement a couple of different things to get even better results yourself. But my goal here is to basically help you create that success in your life, help you hit the next level while making it a fun process. It might sound like a lot of work, but once you start to dial everything in, it just becomes a way of life, basically. And I can tell you that I feel a lot more fulfilled, I feel a lot more confidence, and I get so much more momentum by actually putting all this together. So go through everything, rank it out of 10, and focus on the things that might be a little bit lower score. Start to make some progress, and everything's gonna come together. So thanks so much for watching the video. Hopefully it was very helpful for you. If you got any questions, just comment down below, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.